My name is Astra Sinclair, and I'm 45 years old. I'm the director of robotic surgery at Massachusetts General Hospital. The SteadyHand system I developed is used worldwide, an AI-assisted robotic surgical system. In the last 10 years, over 50,000 surgeries have been performed with my system. Mortality rate, 0.3%, half that of human surgeons. But 10 years ago, I didn't have surgical privileges. My license had been revoked because during surgery my hands trembled. I grew up in Boston. My father was an electrician. My mother was a nurse in the emergency department at Massachusetts General. We weren't wealthy, but every night when my mother came home, she told stories about doctors who saved lives, about miraculous surgeries, about surgeons who accomplished the impossible. Astra, she would say, surgeons are artists. They create life with their hands, and the best ones. The best are both scientists and artists. They use both their minds and their hearts. When I was 7, I had to have surgery. Appendicitis. Emergency operation. When I woke up from anesthesia, the surgeon was standing beside me. Dr. Patricia Chen, 35 years old. Calm, confident, kind. "You're going to be fine," she said. "I removed your appendix. It was a perfect surgery. You can go home in 3 days." I looked at my stitches. Fine, neat, almost invisible. "How do you do it?" I asked. "What do you mean?" "So neat." "Without making mistakes," she smiled. "Practice. 10 years of practice. And steady hands. The most important requirement for being a surgeon. Your hands must be able to stay steady without trembling. People's lives are at your fingertips. A single tremor can lead to disaster." In that moment, I knew I wanted to be a surgeon. At 12, in high school biology class, we dissected frogs. The teacher handed me the scalpel. "Be careful. It's sharp." When I cut, my hand didn't tremble at all. Precise. Delicate. Perfect. The teacher was surprised. "You have a natural talent. You're not afraid at all." "Why should I be afraid? This is just anatomy. Science." Most students faint or start trembling. You're so composed. That day I ran home to tell my mother, "Mom, I'm going to be a surgeon. Like Dr. Chen. I cut a frog in biology and my hand didn't tremble at all." My mother smiled. "Then you'll have to work very hard. Becoming a surgeon isn't easy. But I believe you can do it." In high school, I took every science course. Advanced biology, advanced chemistry, anatomy and physiology. I got perfect scores in all the AP classes. I applied to Harvard, MIT, Johns Hopkins, Stanford. Harvard accepted me. Full scholarship, pre-med program, in Boston, close to home. In college, I studied organic chemistry, physiology, neuroscience. I got the best grades in every class. During summer breaks, I volunteered at Mass General in the emergency department where my mother worked. I seized every opportunity to observe surgeries. At 22, I was accepted to Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, one of America's most prestigious medical schools. 4 years, working day and night. No sleep, no social life, just anatomy, pharmacology, pathology, surgery. In my 3rd year, my first rotation in the operating room began. Cardiac surgery. Dr. Michael Brennan was my mentor. 50 years old, 30 years of experience, thousands of open-heart surgeries. In the first surgery, I only watched. 4 hours, standing, without moving. I noted every step, every incision, every stitch. After the surgery, Dr. Brennan asked, "What did you learn?" Every movement has a reason. Nothing is random. The angle of the incision considers blood flow. The stitch pattern affects healing time. And every second matters. When the heart stops, time is your brain's enemy. He smiled. "Most students just say there was a lot of blood. You understand. Maybe you can become a good surgeon." In the 3rd month of my rotation, I touched a human heart for the first time. Bypass surgery. Dr. Brennan said, "Touch the heart. Feel it. Learn its rhythm." I put on gloves. I reached my hand into the patient's chest cavity, and I touched the heart. It was still beating. Rhythmic, strong, warm. "This," said Dr. Brennan, "is life, at your fingertips. If you fail, this rhythm stops. If you succeed, this heart will beat for another 30 years. Can you live with that responsibility?" "Yes," I said. Without hesitation, I graduated from medical school, 26 years old, 3rd in my class. I began my cardiac surgery residency at Johns Hopkins. 5 years. working 100 hours a week. First year, observation. Second year, assistant. Third year, simple procedures. Fourth and fifth years, complex surgeries. At 31, I completed my residency. I received my license as an independent cardiac surgeon. Massachusetts General Hospital offered me a position, cardiac surgery fellow, under Chief of Surgery, Dr. Richard Thornwood. That's when everything changed. Dr. Richard Thornwood was 60 years old. He'd been at Mass General for 35 years. Chief of the cardiac surgery department for 20 years. Harvard Medical School graduate. From a wealthy family, raised in Connecticut. Old money, old name, old rules. In our first meeting, I presented him with my resume. Johns Hopkins. Top 3. 5 years of residency. Excellent references. He glanced at my file. Johns Hopkins. Good. But Mass General is Harvard's home. Different standards. You'll have to prove yourself here. I understand. One more thing. I have few women in my cardiac surgery team. Do you know why? I was prepared for this question. Other male surgeons had said similar things. Because women have been historically excluded. But that's changing. No. Because surgery is physically and emotionally demanding for women. Long hours, high stress, life and death decisions. Men are biologically better suited for this. Women are more emotional, less stable under stress. I tried to keep my face calm. Research shows that female surgeons are just as competent as male surgeons. Some studies show they're better. Research is in the laboratory. Real life is in the operating room, and in the operating room, emotions kill. If you want to succeed here, you need to control your emotions. You can't show weakness. Understood? Yes. Good. Your first surgery is tomorrow. Bypass. With Dr. Morrison. You're the assistant. Watch, learn, and don't get in his way. Dr. Morrison was 45 years old, 20 years of experience, one of Thornwood's favorite surgeons. During surgery, he gave me orders. Retractor. Sharp tissue. Aspiration. For 4 hours, I didn't speak. I just followed orders. Perfectly. No mistakes. After the surgery, Dr. Morrison said, "Good job. Quiet and efficient. Most new fellows ask too many questions. I'm here to learn. Then you'll learn a lot." In the first 6 months, I assisted in 20 bypass surgeries. Each time I performed perfectly. I never made a mistake. Dr. Morrison began to trust me. In the 7th month, Dr. Morrison said, "Tomorrow we're doing a bypass. This time you'll be primary. I'll assist, my first independent surgery. 32 years old. I felt ready. Patient. 67-year-old male. 3-vessel disease. Standard bypass procedure. In the operating room, the team was ready. Anesthesia, nurses, perfusion. Technician, heart-lung machine. Operator. Dr. Morrison across from me. Dr. Thornwood. In the observation room, he watched all surgeries. Are you ready? Dr. Morrison asked. I'm ready. I made the first incision. Down the center of the chest, sternum, bone saw. I opened the chest cavity. I could see the heart. It was beautiful. Beating. Living. Heparin, I said. Anticoagulant. To prevent blood clotting. The nurse administered it. I injected it. Connect to the heart-lung machine. The perfusion technician placed cannulas in the major vessels. Started the machine. The patient's blood was now being pumped by the machine. We could stop the heart now. Cardioplegic solution. Stopped the heart. Now motionless. Open. Ready to work on. I found the blocked vessels. I'd already harvested vein grafts from the leg. Now I would do the bypass, creating a new path by bypassing the blocked section. I placed the first stitch. Delicate. Careful. Perfect. The second. The third. And then it happened. My hand trembled, just for a second. Very small, but I felt it. Everything okay? Dr. Morrison asked. Yes, I said quickly. I continued the stitch. But now there was fear. What if it trembles again? I concentrated. I breathed. I steadied my hand. I placed the remaining stitches. No problem. Bypass complete. Restart the heart. Electric shock. The heart began beating again. Beautiful. Rhythmic. The bypass was working. Perfect, said Dr. Morrison. Good job. We closed the chest. Surgery complete. 4 hours. Successful. But my mind was stuck on that tremor. Over the next 3 months, I performed 6 more surgeries. In each one, I was successful. But in every surgery, once or twice, my hand trembled. Very small. No one noticed. But I noticed, at night I couldn't sleep. I sat for hours examining my hands. Why are they trembling? Stress? Fatigue? I reduced my coffee intake, tried to sleep more, did yoga, meditation. Nothing worked. I was 35 years old, at the peak of my career, and my hands were betraying me. In August, I had a complex surgery. Aortic valve replacement. Difficult procedure. Dr. Thornwood would be watching, very closely. The patient was ready. The team was ready. I wasn't ready, but I couldn't back out. I opened the chest. Reached the heart. Connected to the heart-lung machine. Stopped the heart. I reached the aortic valve. I needed to remove the old valve. Delicate work. Microsecond precision. I made the first incision. My hand trembled. Worse this time, visible. Dr. Sinclair? Dr. Morrison's voice. Worried. I'm fine, I said. But I wasn't. My hand was still trembling. I tried to make the second incision. The trembling increased. Dr. Thornwood's voice over the intercom. Dr. Morrison, take over. But I started. Now. Thornwood's voice was angry. Dr. Morrison stepped in front of me. Step back, I stepped back. Hands trembling. Visibly now, Dr. Morrison completed the surgery. Successfully. The patient was saved, but I was finished. When I left the operating room, Dr. Thornwood was waiting in the hallway. His face was red. My office. Now, we went to his office. He slammed the door. What happened in there? I don't know. My hands trembled. I couldn't control them. You couldn't control them. You put a patient's life at risk. That tremor could have damaged the heart. Could have started bleeding. That person could have died. I know, I'm sorry. Sorry? You're a surgeon? You can't say sorry. You must be perfect. Every time. You're right. It won't happen again. It won't happen because you won't be performing surgery again. Your surgical privileges are suspended. The ethics committee will review this case, and if they find you unfit for surgery, which they will, your license will be revoked. My world collapsed. Please. Dr. Thornwood, one more chance. You had your chance. I believed women could do surgery. That brilliant women like you could be as good as men. But I was right. Women are emotionally unstable. Your hormones make you unstable. You collapse under stress. This is biology. You can't change it. This isn't biology. Get out! Now. And don't come near the operating room again. Understood? I left. I stood in the hallway, trembling, not crying, just trembling, because my hands won't stop now. The ethics committee convened 2 weeks later. 5 doctors. Thornwood was presiding. The surgery video was watched. The moment my hands trembled. Over and over. Dr. Sinclair, said Thornwood, what caused this tremor? I don't know. It could be stress. Stress? Every surgeon experiences stress. But not every surgeon's hands tremble. Yours did. Why? I don't know. Has this happened before? I could have lied. But lying to the ethics committee would definitely end my career. Yes. In the last 3 months? A few times. Small. Imperceptible. But yes. The committee members looked at each other. And why didn't you report it? Because I thought I could control it, that I could fix it, but it didn't get better. In fact, it got worse, and you put a patient at risk. The patient wasn't harmed. That was luck. If Dr. Morrison hadn't taken over, that patient could have died. Because of your instability. I wasn't unstable. Your hands trembled. That is instability. That is proof you're not fit for surgery. Another committee member, Dr. Helena Park, intervened. Dr. Sinclair, have you had a medical examination? Neurological evaluation? No. Why not? Because I'm afraid if something serious turns up. Then you should go now, said Dr. Park. Neurological evaluation, MRI, full panel. If there's a medical explanation, we need to know, Thornwood said coldly. And until the evaluation is complete, your surgical privileges are suspended. This is the committee's decision. They voted. 5-0. My surgical privileges were suspended. The next day, I went to the neurology department at Mass General. Dr. Samuel Chen examined me, 40 years old. Movement disorder specialist. Extend your hands. he said. Spread your fingers. I extended them. They were trembling. Visibly. How long? 3 months. Maybe 4. At first it was very small. Now it's worse. Other symptoms? Stiffness, slowness, balance problems? No, just tremor. He performed a series of tests. Reflexes, coordination, balance, then MRI, then blood tests. A week later, the results came. I was called to Dr. Chen's office. I sat down. Heart pounding. Dr. Sinclair, he said quietly, your MRI and blood tests showed abnormalities. Dopamine deficiency in the basal ganglia region. The tremor pattern is classic. What does that mean? You have early-onset Parkinson's disease. My world stopped. Parkinson's? But I'm 35 years old. Yes, most Parkinson's patients are over 60, but 10% of cases start before age 40. In your case, at 35. Very early, but unfortunately definite. What is this? Neurodegenerative disease. Dopamine-producing neurons slowly die. This creates tremor, rigidity, slowness. It's progressive. There's no cure, but medications can slow the symptoms. Progressive? So it will get worse? Yes. Over years, decades. Eventually, you'll lose most physical functions. Can I perform surgery? After a long pause. No. You won't be able to maintain the manual dexterity required as a surgeon. I'm sorry. I was 35 years old, and my career was over. I reported the Parkinson's diagnosis to the ethics committee. There was no need to wait for their decision. My surgical privileges were permanently revoked. Thornwood called a meeting. The entire cardiac surgery department, to make an example of me. Colleagues, he said. Yesterday, Dr. Sinclair's surgical privileges were revoked due to a neurological condition, Parkinson's disease. This makes her unfit to perform surgery. Everyone looked at me. Some sympathetic, most relieved, one less competing surgeon. This is a reminder, Thornwood continued. Surgery requires excellence, physical, mental, emotional. If you can't meet these standards, you don't belong in the operating room. Dr. Sinclair couldn't meet these standards, and her career is over. After the meeting, a few colleagues came by. I'm sorry, Astra. This is unfair. If you need anything. But none really helped. In this world, if you can't operate, you're invisible. Mass General offered me a different position. Medical research, clinical coordinator, administrative work, respectable job but not a surgeon. I declined. They said they were very sorry and terminated my employment. At 35, I was unemployed. Diagnosed with Parkinson's. My career destroyed. For 3 months, I barely left my apartment. Depressed. Destroyed. Failed. My father visited me. Astra, this isn't your end. Dad, I can't be a surgeon. Without surgery, who am I? You're a doctor, a scientist, a problem solver. Surgery was just a tool, but there are other tools. Like what? I don't know yet, but you'll find them. Was he right? I didn't know, but desperate times required desperate thinking. One night, I spent hours researching Parkinson's online. Treatments, symptom management, medications. Then I found articles on robotic surgery. Robotic surgery wasn't new. The Da Vinci system received FDA approval in 2000. Surgeons used a console, controlling robot arms with joysticks and pedals. The robot arms mimicked the surgeon's hand movements, but more precise, more stable, with tremor filtering. Those words echoed in my mind. If robot systems can filter tremors, if they can maintain surgical precision, then surgeons with Parkinson's can still operate. Right? But the Da Vinci system was limited, only for certain procedures, and it wasn't fully robotic. The surgeon still controlled it. If the surgeon's tremor was too severe, the system would still be affected. What if a fully autonomous system, artificial intelligence? The surgeon only provides guidance, but AI performs the precise movements? It was a crazy idea, but desperate times required crazy ideas. I knew MIT had a robotics engineering program. The next day, I went there. I met with Dr. Kenji Yamamoto, director of the robotics laboratory, 45 years old, Japanese-American, robotic surgical systems specialist. Dr. Sinclair, how can I help you? I have a proposal. Fully AI-assisted robotic surgical system. The surgeon makes the plan. AI executes the precise movements. Tremor filtering, precision enhancement, minimizing human errors. Interesting. But Da Vinci already offers tremor filtering. Da Vinci isn't enough. It's inadequate for severe tremor conditions like Parkinson's, and it's not fully autonomous. I want AI to be able to execute surgical procedures independently. The surgeon only supervises and intervenes if necessary. This is very advanced. Regulation, safety, ethics, FDA approval will take years. I know, but it's possible, and it can save lives, not just for surgeons with Parkinson's, for anyone with tremors, or fatigue, or age, or just wanting better precision, Dr. Yamamoto thought. Do you have funding? No. A team? No. A prototype? No, he smiled. But you have a vision and passion. That's enough to start. Write a proposal. If it's good enough, MIT can take you on as a research fellow, lab space, grant application support. What do you think? Yes, absolutely yes. Over the next 6 months, I wrote a 200-page research proposal. SteadyHand, AI-assisted robotic surgical system for tremor filtering and autonomous execution. Technical specifications, safety protocols, AI algorithms, machine learning models, clinical trial plan, FDA approval pathway. MIT approved the proposal. They gave me a 2-year research fellowship, $80,000 annual salary, lab space, equipment budget, and Dr. Yamamoto was my mentor. In the first year, I built the team, 3 robotics engineers, 2 AI specialists, 1 medical device expert, all young, all talented, all believing in my crazy idea. In the second year, we developed the first prototype, crude, clunky, but it worked. We performed simple procedures on cadavers. Tremor filtering worked. AI executed surgical steps correctly, but it was still too slow, and the error margin was too high. In the third year, we received a $2 million grant from the NIH, National Institutes of Health. We accelerated prototype development, smaller, faster, smarter. We trained the AI on thousands of surgical videos, from open-source medical libraries. The machine learned how to cut tissue, how to stitch, how to stop bleeding. In the fourth year, we began animal trials, pigs, cardiac surgery. Our AI system succeeded in 10 out of 10 surgeries, 0 complications. In the fifth year, we applied to the FDA, Human Trial Authorization, Phase 1, Safety Study. After a 3-year review, the FDA approved. In the 7th year, we conducted the first human trial at Boston Medical Center, 10 patients, standard bypass surgeries. I made the surgical plan. The AI system executed it. I supervised but didn't touch. My hands were trembling too much. But it didn't matter. The AI's hands were perfect. 10 surgeries, 10 successes, 0 complications. Average surgery time 30% shorter than human surgeons. Patient recovery time 20% faster. The data was incredible. Medical journals published it. Media showed interest. Boston Globe, MIT researcher develops AI surgeon. And most importantly, the FDA gave full approval. SteadyHand System was now approved for commercial use. I was 42 years old, and I had changed medical history. I founded SteadyHand Systems Company. Venture capital funds invested $50 million. System production began. Sales to hospitals started. In the first year, 50 hospitals purchased the system. Second year, 200 hospitals. Third year, 500 hospitals. Now, over 200 hospitals worldwide use SteadyHand. Over 50,000 surgeries per year. 3% mortality rate, half that of human surgeons. And me? I was no longer a surgeon, but I was teaching surgery. Every day to my AI system. And every month to new surgeons, to teach them how to use SteadyHand. At 43, I gave a TED Talk. Turning weakness into strength. How Parkinson's made me a better surgeon. When my hands started trembling at 35, I thought my career was over. I was told I couldn't succeed, that women were biologically unsuited for surgery. When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, it seemed like proof. I was weak. I had failed, but then I realized something. Weakness is not deficiency. Weakness is the catalyst for innovation, because when we become weak, we must adapt. We must find new ways, and sometimes these new ways are better than the old ways. My trembling hands led me to create an AI surgeon, and now that AI is saving thousands of lives. If I didn't have Parkinson's, I never would have done this. I had to do it because I couldn't perform surgery. So now I thank Dr. Thornwood, who told me women were too emotional. Because he motivated me. He angered me. And I used that anger as fuel. The talk went viral. 10 million views. Worldwide media interest. CNN, BBC, NPR. And one day, I received a surprise visitor. Dr. Richard Thornwood came to my office. He was 68 years old now. Older, tired, less confident. "Dr. Sinclair," he said quietly. "Can we talk?" I gestured to a chair. "Of course," he sat. He didn't speak for a long time. Then, "I heard about your success. The SteadyHand System. Impressive. Thank you. I came to apologize. I was surprised." "Apologize?" "Yes, I was wrong about you. 10 years ago, about your trembling hands. I judged you as unstable, weak, unfit for surgery. And I disciplined you. I ended your career. Yes, you did. But I was wrong. You didn't fail because you weren't fit for surgery. You had a medical condition. And you struggled with that condition to innovate. You created something incredible. And I just punished you? Why? Why did you treat me that way?" He took a deep breath. "Because I was afraid. Afraid that if women succeeded in surgery, the old guard, people like me, would become irrelevant. I wanted to protect my career, protect the status quo, and that made you, and other female surgeons, a target. So your bias destroyed careers." "Yes, and I'm ashamed of it." "Why are you coming now?" 10 years later, because I'm retiring, and looking back at my past, what I regret most is your situation. You could have been a magnificent surgeon, and I destroyed that. I just wanted to apologize, and wish I could turn back time. There was a long silence. Then I said, "I accept your apology, but I don't forgive you, because you didn't just hurt me. You hurt every female surgeon who came after you. You showed them that if they make one mistake, there's no second chance. If they show weakness, their careers are over. And how many women gave up medicine because of you? How many talented doctors listened to you and said maybe he's right?" "I know, and I'll live with that." "Good, because I lived with it. 10 years, depression, disappointment, anger, and finally, I won. But you can't take that away from me. I won despite you." He stood up. "You're right, you won, and I respect that. SteadyHand is magnificent. And you're a better doctor than I ever was. You always were." He walked to the door, then turned. "One more thing. Mass General purchased the SteadyHand System for the cardiac surgery department. And I must be crazy, but would you consider consulting on the system's use? Paid position. Training surgeons, return to Mass General, to your department? It's not my department anymore. Dr. Helena Park is now chief. And she wants you. She said, we need to bring Astra back. We owe her. Dr. Park said that?" "Yes. She was on the ethics committee 10 years ago. She suggested you get a medical examination. Unlike me, she was fair. And now she's chief. A good leader, I thought. Mass General, training surgeons, working with the new generation. I'll accept. But on one condition." "What?" "The department must change its female surgeon hiring policy. Active recruitment, mentorship program, zero tolerance bias policy. If I'm coming back to make changes." "Agreed. Dr. Park was already planning this." "Then yes." Thornwood nodded and left. That night, I felt pain, but also relief. For 10 years, I had hated that man, and now he had apologized. Admitted he was wrong. It didn't fix everything, but it helped. I returned to Mass General, but not as a surgeon. As director of robotic surgery, I oversaw the SteadyHand System, trained surgeons, developed protocols, and for the first time, the number of female surgeons increased. Under Dr. Park's leadership, the department went from 20% to 45% female surgeons. Active recruitment, mentorship, support. A young surgeon, Dr. Priya Sharma, came to me. "Dr. Sinclair, you're an inspiration. Without your story, I would have considered rejecting medical school. But you showed that obstacles can't stop us. How are you doing?" "Good, but sometimes I doubt. Whether I'm good enough. Whether I'm as strong as my male colleagues. Those doubts will never go away, but you can ignore them. Every successful surgery is proof. Every life saved, the doubters are wrong. Just keep going. Be excellent. And never apologize for your abilities." She smiled. "Thank you." Another day, a young female engineer visited my lab. "My T student in robotics engineering. Dr. Sinclair, I've been following your work. SteadyHand is incredible. And I came with an idea. AI-assisted neurosurgical system for brain surgeries. Parkinson's, tumors, epilepsy. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. And you should join the team to make it happen. Really? Really. Innovation isn't finished. SteadyHand is the beginning, but more systems are needed. Neurosurgery, orthopedics, oncology, and young engineers like you will make it happen. She joined the team. 2 years later, we developed the first neurosurgical prototype, now in the FDA approval application process. At 45, I won the National Medal of Technology and Innovation ceremony at the White House. The president pinned the medal. "Dr. Astra Sinclair," he said, "your work has transformed the field of medicine. You've saved thousands of lives, and you've turned obstacles into opportunities. This medal recognizes your intelligence, resilience, and vision." Applause. Photos. Media. But the most meaningful moment came afterward. Behind the ceremony, an elderly woman approached me. "Dr. Sinclair?" "Yes, I'm Patricia Chen. Do you remember me?" I was shocked. "Dr. Chen, my surgeon, who operated on my appendicitis 38 years ago." She smiled. "Yes, you were 7 years old. So curious. You asked, how do you do it so neatly?" "I remember. You said, steady hands, the most important requirement for being a surgeon." "Yes, and now you've redefined it. Steady hands aren't necessary anymore, because your AI is steady for everyone. This is magnificent. You inspired me. That day I decided I wanted to be a surgeon. And now you're inspiring thousands of people. The cycle is complete," we both cried. A 38-year cycle, from her surgery to my innovation. Today, I'm 45 years old. My Parkinson's is progressing. My hands tremble worse. My walking is slower, but my spirit is strong. SteadyHand Systems is now a $2 billion company, 200 hospitals, 50,000 plus surgeries per year, 0.3% mortality rate. And me? I'm no longer performing daily surgeries. But every day I'm improving my system, new features, new procedures, new training programs. And every month I speak to young surgeons. Especially women, I'll tell you something. There will be people trying to stop you. They'll say you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not stable enough, and sometimes those people will seem right. Because you will fail. You'll make mistakes. You'll tremble. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. Failure is data. It tells you what doesn't work. And if you listen carefully, it also tells you what will work. My hands trembled, and that was my end. But then I listened to the data. I adapted. I innovated. And now, my tremor has become stability for millions of patients. So never give up. Never apologize. And never let others define your limits. Because the only limit is your imagination. Applause. Every time. And every time a young woman comes to me. Thank you. I needed that. That's my legacy. Not steady hand. Inspiring the next generation. Showing them that obstacles aren't walls, they're doors. You have to push hard, but you can open them. Last week I ran into Richard Thornwood at a conference. 70 years old, fully retired, spending time with his grandchildren. When he saw me, he approached. "Dr. Sinclair, excellent speech." "Thank you. I still follow your work. SteadyHand 2.0, neurosurgical capabilities, incredible. You really changed medicine." "Thank you. How are you?" "Good. Retirement suits me. More family time, less stress, and I think a lot about the past, about regrets." I waited silently. "I want you to know," he said. "When I speak to young surgeons, I always tell your story. How I misjudged you. How my bias nearly destroyed a talented doctor. And how you won anyway. Be like Astra Sinclair, I tell them. Obstacles can't stop you. They just make you find a different path. That's meaningful. Thank you. No, thank you. You taught me so much. Especially this. When you make a mistake, admit it. Apologize and be better." I learned that too late. But at least I learned. We shook hands. And parted. In peace. I'm no longer angry at him. Because he motivated me. Proving him wrong brought me here. Today I'm in my lab at MIT, 45 years old. My Parkinson's is progressing. My hands tremble badly. But it doesn't matter. Because my AI's hands are perfect. We're working on a new prototype. SteadyHand 2.0. Faster. Smarter. More versatile. And now, neurosurgical capability. Brain surgeries. Deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's. The irony is perfect. The disease that diagnosed me with Parkinson's is now the disease I'm helping to treat. The young engineer, Sarah, shows me the prototype test results. Dr. Sinclair, look. In the last simulation, 99.7% precision, 40% faster than human surgeons, and 0 errors. Excellent. Prepare the FDA application. We can start human trials in 6 months. I'm excited. This will change the lives of Parkinson's patients. Yes, it will. I look out the window now. Boston's skyline. Mass General is somewhere out there. 10 years ago, in that hospital, I was told my career was over, that women were too emotional, that I was biologically unsuited for surgery, and now my system is used in that hospital. My AI is performing surgeries, and I'm training the surgeons. Richard Thornwood was wrong, but maybe I should thank him, because he motivated me. He angered me, and I used that anger as fuel. My weakness, my trembling hands, became my greatest strength. Because it forced me to innovate, to adapt, to problem solve, and now thousands of surgeons use my system. Thousands of patients are alive, because one day my hands trembled, and I refused to quit. Parkinson's didn't stop me from being a surgeon. It made me a better surgeon, because now I don't just operate with myself. I operate with the world. Game over. I won.